Gary. As we go through our lives, we find different type and kinds of people. And especially for young people, it is essential to find mentors and role models in life. And my son, who is just 14, his role model is a 23 years old boy who lives between England and Hong Kong. And I remember when I was 20, my role model was my uncle, who spent 5 years in Siberia, sent there by the Soviets, and then went with Polish army and settled in Britain, in London. And since I became a cardiologist, my role model, and happily and luckily my mentor, has been Dr. Gary Roubin. And I've known Gary for a number of years, and how appropriate I felt that Gary should, in a way, conclude this conference. And we invited Gary not only because he's considered the father of coronary stents, and in fact, he invented the first ever FDA-approved coronary stent, and people call him the father of carotid stenting in the world. But we invited Gary because he's a person of absolutely unparalleled integrity and honesty, and he has been so good, not only to me personally, not only to his own colleagues, but to humanity. Gary, welcome.
Thank you, Jan. It's a wonderful opportunity to be with you and the organizers of Icarus, and also Bob Beasley and Bob Miner. It's fabulous to be with you guys. I'm in awe of what I've seen this morning, the generational progress that we've made. I've been doing this and watching this for now 40 years. So what I've seen this morning is quite extraordinary and reassuring in terms of patient care. So congratulations.
Gary, you understand that we're not going to ask you about coronary or carotid stents today.
Yes.
So Gary, as a young person, did you have a mentor? Did you have a role model? Or did you know that you would come up with all the things that you came up with?
I did not, but I was fortunate to work with Andreas Grunzig, a remarkable, sorry about that light effect, I've got sun shining in from the skylights in my cabin. So I'm going to try and wriggle around and get a different look here. There we go, a bit better. So I'm in this log cabin in the Tetons in Wyoming, and Rob, you're up there in Missoula, so we both understand the beauty and the awesome glory of this Western Mountains. I was in awe of Andreas Grunzig when I saw what he could do with a balloon after we had spent a decade sending patients to very traumatic bypass surgery. But he was a man who, most importantly, wanted to extend his techniques through the sort of program that we've been enjoying this morning. And I am so proud of you, Jan, and the Icarus people to make the effort through the pandemic to connect us all, because we all learn so much. The other thing about Andreas Grunzig, not just this sort of practical demonstration of technique, the other thing about Andreas was his integrity, his putting patient safety first. And then was something I think we need to do more of with our peripheral work is we have to subject our clinical experience to rigorous multi-center prospective evaluation. And as clinicians, we know what works for us. But when we do prospective multi-center data collection, we all learn so much about how to best treat our patients. So that was what I was taught with Andreas Grunzig, and I tried to practice that through the next 30 years that we move forward. But I see everything today representing great progress.
Gary, did you design your career? Did you have mentors? Or did it all happen just by chance? Was it hard work or sheer luck?
There was a lot of very good fortune involved. And I think for all of us, paths open up. And I think the only two things that we need is the opportunity, which is really good fortune, and then simply the courage to step on the path. When you come to that fork in the road, you have to choose and you have to move. You can't stay in that same place. And then you have to be just relentless in your commitment to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Because without relentless work, and you all know that everyone on this program is here because they've been relentless in their efforts to improve their techniques and patient care. And I think they're really important. And we have to teach our younger next generation the same elements of some courage to try new things, validation of these new things, and then the next step, rigorous scientific evaluation, because we can fool ourselves. We all know that. We can fool ourselves in our clinical work by thinking that we, in fact, have something that's working when a more rigorous third-party evaluation with people following our data can show us different things.
Gary, we haven't seen, I know you're very busy with various projects contributing to humanity, but we haven't seen you in the cath lab for a while. Do you miss the cath lab, or do you enjoy your new type of work more?
Well, I'm 73. It's been 15 months, and I have to say that I am not missing the 10-hour days wearing lead and sweating through chronic total occlusions of iliac arteries and coronary arteries and tough carotid cases. I'm not missing it at all. And in fact, I'm really enjoying using the experience that I've gained now working on different projects in the structural space and the work with Access with Manta and other projects that I'm focused on. So I think we all have to evolve, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm very fortunate to do this in the beautiful mountains of Wyoming.
Gary, a rather personal question. Throughout your career, have you felt that perhaps or not, you paid some personal price for all the things that you have done and accomplished?
It's a very fortunate man that can manage to forge a career forward at the same time that he is able to devote the considerable amount of time it takes to have a good family life, to raise children, to be present and mindful of their spouse. And in my own case, I really compromised the first 30, 40 years of my personal life in the efforts I made to do what I did after my work with Andreas Grunzig. Life then shines. And for me, at the age of 48, I met a wonderful girl and had 4 amazing children, 2 of which graduated, one in a master's program last week, and another one a bachelor's degree at Emory University, where I had tears running down my face. And so at 73, the last one is 18, graduates from high school here in Jackson, Wyoming, next Friday. So perhaps in life, you have to do things longitudinally unless you're an extraordinary individual. I don't know many of these people. In my life, I've basically seen all of us have to make really terrible, I would say, unfortunate compromises. But in the end, we do the best we can, right?
Indeed, we do. Gary, if there would be a message First of all, there's a lot of younger people than all of us here watching the broadcast. Do you think you would have a message to younger specialists combining your professional wisdom and personal wisdom?
Yes, I do, Jan. Looking back now, I realize that some of the things that I accomplished would have been impossible if I was not prepared to go through the really difficult task of change. And so be prepared to make changes in your career. Number one. Two, when you become a physician, always put the welfare of your patients first. And secondly, despite the criticism, or thirdly, despite the criticism that we all get, and I got plenty when I decided that it was going to be safe to put a stent in the coronaries, which people said we were crazy to even attempt, and then in the carotid, because the vascular surgeons came after me. Have the courage to meet the challenges, always in the interests of patient care. I was meeting with a hospital CEO last week, and he said, after I was trying to establish something else, an air evacuation service for Jackson, Wyoming. He said, I've heard that you started more turf wars than anyone else in medicine. And perhaps he's right. I didn't mean to start turf wars, but I think if you want to push back frontiers, you're going to find opposition, and you have to meet that opposition with determination and some courage. And only, and this I learned from Andreas Grunzig, the only thing that ultimately works is really good data and the best scientific evidence that we can gain to support our clinical gestalt. Because sometimes our clinical gestalt, for busy clinical operators as I was, is only that. And evidence is what moves the discipline forward.
Gary, I would like to thank you not only as a co-organizer of the Icarus conference, but simply not only as a cardiologist, but simply as a member of Homo sapiens. Gary, thank you for making the world a better place. Thank you so much. We admire you. John. Thank you.
Congratulations for your work in this meeting. It's very important we continue. Thank you.
Thank you.